Have you ever wondered if there's anything that you can do to make a meaningful impact on conservation, even as just a regular old guy who appreciates the snakes he occasionally sees while hiking or in his yard? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can, by using a really awesome program known as HerpMapper. Now, HerpMapper is what is known as a citizen science program designed to help everyday people like you and me contribute to science in a meaningful way by submitting their observations of awesome animals like this eastern king snake to meaningful science and to their local government organizations in a way that'll benefit snakes and people alike. And not just snakes, HerpMapper is for all reptiles and amphibians across the world. It's a global platform, so if you live in Australia or Europe or anywhere else, you can submit your observations to HerpMapper, and it works the exact same. So unfortunately, in this day and age, there are some citizen science programs that don't take every step necessary to protect the animals they're attempting to help. And I'm not going to call anybody out or name any names, however, I am going to highly recommend HerpMapper. Because when you upload an observation to HerpMapper, almost all of the data is restricted to a county level and only visible by a small group of selected scientists and organizations that are very heavily vetted and have the best interest of the reptiles and amphibians in mind. This is incredibly important because not everybody using these websites is well intended. And that is why it is so important to me personally that you use HerpMapper, because when you take a picture of a snake and you upload it to HerpMapper, the only people seeing it are the people that need to be able to see it. Now, of course, you can go on HerpMapper and look at observations and see really cool pictures of things that other people found, but that's all you can see. You can't see exactly where it was found, and while yes, it would be nice to be able to just openly see where everybody finds everything, unfortunately, we don't live in a world where that's possible. Because like I said, not everybody has the same good intentions as myself and a lot of you guys. So for now, I'm going to turn this over to Mike Pingleton, one of the creators of HerpMapper and a good friend of mine. And I'm sure many of you know Mike well or know about him. He's the host of the So Much Pingle podcast and has been heavily involved in HerpMapper since day one. I was lucky enough to spend some time in the field with Mike this spring, and I'm going to turn it over to Mike and let him explain to you exactly how to make a HerpMapper observation.
What I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is take a picture of it before it gets away, right? So record later, picture first. Got the picture, then I can go in and open the app and put in a record for it.
So we're going to release this guy now that we have vouchers, and Mike is going to walk us through how to upload an observation in the field.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple. I've got a picture of the animal, so it's secure. And then I just want to make a new record, choose a new record. So it doesn't require any kind of data connection at all. It just uses, it's just talking to the satellite. So it establishes where we're at exactly. Once I've got it down and it's the continue button is live, that means it's locked in close enough to create a record. And I just do continue. Then I choose what I saw. I can search for like the salamander. I already have one in here. I can search for it, or I can choose from the pick list of the last 15 things that I found. You can see I've got some South American stuff in there still. Or if I don't know what it is and I want to put it in later, the ID, I can choose unknown ID. And then go back in later and edit it and put the ID in. But I'm going to choose spotted dusky salamander. I've already taken a picture, so I'm going to use the choose image. Continue. Age of the animal is an adult. Put that in. We're putting some basic information, not too much here. It's not deceased. If I found it dead on the road, I could mark it as such. I can put a note here that's visible to the public, and I can put a private note that's for me.
So what kind of public notes would be useful to the researchers who are getting this data?
Well, for researchers, they can see public or private notes because you give them full access to your data. But public notes is just you want to tell somebody something interesting about the animal. Like for example,
flipped under a log, how it was found, that type of information,
or something unusual.
Yeah.
So that's
so stuff like if you can tell that it's visibly a male, or you find a pair together, that would be a good time to use that feature.
Yeah, or observed in amplexus, or found a garter snake that was following a female. So
any sort of natural history notes,
something like that.
All right.
So it's very good for that kind of stuff.
So Mike is logging everything we find today on HerpMapper, right?
Yeah.
And all of this data is going to be eventually put into the hands of people who do research on these animals.
Right.
So now you might be wondering, why is it important that we as field herpers or hikers, or just the everyday person with an interest in reptiles and amphibians, upload our observations to HerpMapper? And the answer is, well, there's a lot of answers. First and foremost, really cool snakes like this eastern king snake are thought to be in decline throughout a lot of their range, and while they're still doing quite well here in metro Atlanta, that might not be the case in another 10 to 15 years. Programs like HerpMapper help establish a baseline for relatively common snakes like eastern king snakes that in 10 years we can look back on and say, hey, there were king snakes in this county here 10 years ago, but there aren't now. But it also creates a platform for incredibly rare and secretive species like the northern pine snake that even people that spend a lot of time in the field looking for them like myself can't regularly find. It creates an opportunity for snakes like that are just so hard to detect and so hard to find to actually be seen by the everyday person. So regular people find snakes like pine snakes all the time and they don't know what they are. And so they upload them to Facebook groups looking for an identification or citizen science platforms to get an identification. So they not only get to find out what their really cool looking snake is that they found in their yard, but they get to contribute to the well-being of that species in the future by providing extremely valuable data to researchers and conservation organizations alike that are working to preserve really rare snakes and other reptiles and amphibians and other forms of life. In my opinion, it's very valuable to not only upload rare observations to HerpMapper, but also observations of more common species like this king snake. Like I said earlier, in 10 years, king snakes might not be common here anymore. There are plenty of places where king snakes were once common that they're now all but completely gone. And there are people who are working to figure out why. And by contributing data like this, you're able to directly contribute to those projects. And in turn, you're directly contributing to the conservation of the species that we love. When you're uploading to HerpMapper, yes, you are giving up a little bit of your private information in the form of the location that you saw something interesting. However, in my opinion, that is a worthwhile contribution when you're using a secure platform like HerpMapper because it's not going to be visible to everyday people. It's only going to be visible to the relevant scientists, conservationists, and government organizations that are working to protect these animals. Alright everyone, well I hope if you have not been using HerpMapper already, this video will motivate you to. I know it's a little bit scary to start sharing such sensitive information with other people, but I do believe that it is for the greater benefit of the animals that we love all around. And hopefully if you're not really a field herper and you do encounter a snake from time to time, hopefully this will encourage you to submit that data because that is just as valuable, if not more, than the data coming from people who do this all the time. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been a little bit of a slow week, so I haven't been able to film a full vlog yet, so I figured it was a good time to put this out. I am hoping to get a vlog out later this week though, so thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you all next time.